for Andrew ferenbach. Pardon me, the essential equivalent of a scientist/comedian. And yes, okay, out and out, yes, I am a scientist. So yes, some of my jokes may have a slightly scientific angle, but I hope you can forgive. So, after all, you know, every cell in our body contains a startling amount of DNA. And you know, if you took all of the DNA in all of the cells in your body and stretched it out end to end, you would totally die. Sorry, couldn't resist. Anyway, but on to a different topic. As you may tell from my outlandish accent, I am in fact British. And, you know, us British, we're a very, very sort of prim and proper lot. We are, you know, hey, call a spade, that's us. And one of the cultural things that we have is, of course, if we think that a woman is pregnant or suspect it, we don't have explicit confirmation, we will not bring it up. Absolutely, come hell or high water, no matter what. Even if we overhear that woman saying, well, I've got a doctor's appointment later this week. No, it could be about her toenails. Don't jump to conclusions, don't fall for it. It's only until the woman actually explicitly says, yes, of course, my baby is due to emerge from my body, then you can go, congratulations. Other than that, no, we Brits will absolutely stick to our guns and not say anything. True story. A colleague of mine, for a while, yes, I started suspecting that just maybe she might be with child. But I wasn't a fool, no. So I simply didn't say anything like a good Brit. I just, you know, I tried to observe her. I thought to myself, how can I find out without finding out? Could I offer her some alcohol? No, it's at work, so no. Would you like this dessert that contains raw eggs, and see if she declines? No, couldn't do that either. And so I simply waited. And it wasn't until I mentioned this to my wife, and because I mean, there's like a spouses group at work, and so I thought, maybe she knows someone who can confirm or deny this. And it wasn't until my wife finally confronted my colleague and said, hey, you know, Andrew totally thinks you're pregnant, but also my wife had taken one look and gone, she is so pregnant. And yes, she's due in September. She is 6 months along, but I'll be damned if I was going to say, hey, congrats on the baby bump, because if she'd just been getting into her pies, social disaster! This is what the Brits fear. You may laugh, which I hope, but the point is, us Brits are terrified of this. We don't want a woman to think we think that she is so round that she must be with child, and not because she loves desserts. I love desserts too. And you may think, hey, I'm being overcautious, or it's just my upbringing, but no. I had first-hand experience to see someone else go down in flames. And he went down in flames so spectacularly, he serves a cautionary tale for future generations. There was a dear student of mine from Glasgow who I was terribly fond of, and she, yes, was very fond of dessert. But there was a guy who would come by the bay to pick up our garbage and stuff, and he was very chatty, always very friendly, lovely guy, and he was really sweet. You couldn't hope for a nicer guy, not a mean bone in his body. And so, one fine day, he went over to her, and he sort of patted her abdomen, which is, dude, I mean, but he said, oh, do you have a wee baby in there? And I was like, no, there was no amount of no, because he didn't know what I knew. Because it was impossible for there to be a baby in there. Because no matter how much her and her girlfriend tried, no baby was going to appear. Oh, I mean, I was like, on his behalf, I wanted to curl up and fall through the floor. Because I was like, no, dude. So yes, I mean, and even funny as it may seem, when I finally got the word that my colleague was pregnant and went to her and said, hey, you know, congrats, by the way, finally, she thought it was funny, and I was like, hey, you know, I was hesitant. I was like, you know, I remember what happened to Derek, and she's like, oh, Derek. So, you know, his name went down in legend as the guy who thought a lesbian was pregnant. It's like, whoops, okay. Yeah, that's very, very British, and hey, it's all true based on real life experience. I mean, I still feel bad for the guy, and it's been years, but anyway. But us Brits, we're all about the traditions and adherence to the rules. I mean, yes, your Danes and your crossing of the road, very respectable, yes, a bit unnecessary at 3 a.m, but I get where you're coming from. But the strange thing is, Danes do not respect the ancient art of the cube. I mean, in Britain, you go to a bus stop and there is a sacred pact that you have entered into. You arrive at the bus stop and your place is sacred. It is unchallengeable. You are number 4 at that bus stop and you will be the 4th person on that bus, no matter what. But in Denmark, seriously, my little British brain was melting when I encountered Danish bus stop etiquette, which was basically, sod you, I'm getting on that bus. I mean, people sure looked like they were queuing, so all my lights were green. I thought, yeah, I can dig this. Yeah, Danish public transport coming here on time. But then it suddenly becomes Resident Evil. Suddenly, everyone is just like steamrolling onto the bus. And I couldn't believe it. Yes, my little heart was breaking, and most of the time that wasn't a problem. I sort of got over and thought, okay. And I actually invented my own little psychological sport, which I call fishing for Danes. Because I knew this whole instinct the Danes have. And I also know everyone at the bus stop is looking at their phone or doing anything but admitting they're at a bus stop. So what I would do, I'd be like just at the bus stop, and then about 2 minutes before the bus was actually due, I would look to the left and then go and step forward. And all of the Danes whose Resident Evil instincts were firing away would also step forward, then go and realise they stepped forward for no reason, which brought me no end of amusement. But that said, this whole Danish evil etiquette has worked in my favour, because a couple of years back, because I've been here for 3 years now, there was a big snow crisis. I was trying to get onto the bus, and I was person number 27 at the bus stop. In Britain, I would be toast. I'd be out in the cold, end of discussion. But because of the Danish total ignoring of etiquette, I was like number 4 on that bus. Stamping over little old ladies, elbowing people. Whee! Bus for me! So I'm not gonna lie, I do see a certain charm in that approach, but that's just me. But similarly, talking of cultural shock, pardon me, is Danish taxis. Oh my goodness, how expensive are those suckers? I mean, seriously, it's like quadruple the price of Edinburgh. So when we first came to Denmark and thought, we'll catch a taxi from the train station to our Airbnb, no problem at all. And then when the fare actually happened, I was like, holy crap, what? I mean, it was like 400 crowns. I mean, no wonder these taxi drivers all drive Teslas, because they're making it rain, Woohoo, gangsta, we've got all this money coming on. I mean, oh my goodness. So yes, that led me to absolutely avoid Danish taxis like the plague, because I don't want to incinerate that much money. It actually worked out cheaper to use a certain company who aren't sponsoring me, so I won't name their name, who let you, book they let you hire a car by the minute using a phone app. And that's really, really cool, because once again, those cheeky Danes, and they're not respecting people's other rules and stuff, when you take one of these cars, like drive to IKEA to buy yourself some strangely named furniture, you park the car, you go into IKEA, come up 45 minutes later, a Dane has swiped your car, away they go. Because, like a good Scotsman, I'm not going to spend any money reserving that car. No. I will take my chances, thank you so much. Add a little spice to life, this form of gambling. But I discovered a way of making this work for me, because I realised, okay, Danes are a little bit heartless when it comes to swiping stuff. Not like Romanians, but booking stuff. So what I did was, when we had to catch a bus away to go to Copenhagen to fly out on holiday, I thought, I don't want to catch a taxi all the way to the bus station. No fun. And so what was I going to do? Instead, I got one of these cars and then I drove it to the bus station, but there's no safe places to park the car there. You have to go to Bruns Gallery into the basement to stash the car, which ordinarily would be a bit of a pain in the bum. Haha. But then I remembered how the Danes love to swipe cars willy and or nilly, so what I did, I went and I paid for an hour's parking right next to the bus station, parked the car there, and within 45 minutes, someone had swiped the car. Haha, no longer my problem, no parking tickets for me. And with the app I could watch it remotely, so I watched the little guy shanghaiing my car. I have never been so happy to be ripped off. That's just that. Now where was I? Oh. Got it, and I still have 45 seconds left. Because, also this Thursday I have a comedy gig coming up at Bar for Show. Shameful plug for scientific comedy, which I promise even more scientific plug. Anyway, you guys have been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Give it up for Andrew, our resident scientist. All right, the next guy.